Hello, if you actually want to kind of learn how to improve atmosphere in your marriage, do not skip this video. And this is very important for as many people that are actually dating and who are actually looking forward to improve the atmosphere, whether in their marriage or in their relationships. Now you can imagine you if you're working for a company and you notice the atmosphere is kind of very off, obviously bad energy, you just can't wait to get out of that company. You can't wait to get out of that team. Sometimes people have switched teams, simply because they just can't cope. They didn't switch the company, they didn't change the company, but they actually, they switch teams simply because they just can't cope with the atmosphere in that team because it's just full of bad energy. Now, the same thing, think about this in your marriage as well, where there are bad and like you have a bad energy, or maybe it could be your partner and all that affect the way you think, the way you reason, the way you actually react to things as well. And one of the bad things about negative atmosphere is obviously it disrupts every other thing in your marriage. Call it in terms of your sexual life, even your finances, your happiness. It disrupts literally everything in your marriage. Now, today, I just want to quickly talk about how can you actually improve on that. And I think one of the number one thing, obviously, that we need to be aware of is for you not to hold on onto grudges for too long. When you hold on onto grudges for too long, that could potentially lead to what we call resentment. And resentment obviously dwells in you, lives in you for so long that you find it difficult to actually forgive your partner. And apparently, obviously, that keeps bringing bad atmosphere, negative atmosphere in your marriage. And also, reduce stress. Obviously, very, very important. Obviously, you come back from work, you stress, you feel, think about the impact of that on your home as well, and obviously even on your children too. You have to think about all these things as well. It's not all about yourself, but think about what impact is this having negatively on the lives, in your marriage or in the lives of your children. And also, another thing that you can do, which is going to be the third point, obviously, is to take time to actually, sort things out as quick as possible. I know a lot of times we just want to, okay, I'm waiting for my partner to talk about it. They might never talk about hate. If you feel like you want to talk about it, talk about it, and then obviously let it go, settle things, and then move on quite, like very quickly as well. Bad atmosphere actually destroys so many things in marriage. It's like it destroys that relationship that you have with your partner. That connection might not actually be there anymore. So atmosphere is a big deal. No matter how you kind of think about it, it's actually very much big deal in your marriage. And I will say this again. Obviously, if you keep bringing bad atmosphere, whether you're a man or a woman, then things will keep going downhill. And obviously, it might get to a point whereby it is just not redeemable anymore. And things will just keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I will say this, obviously, always strive. And, like there are instances where I've had issues with my partner, and then obviously, I've had to kind of raise it up, talk about it, and then ensure that that just die there and there. And then sometimes a lot of people don't have that humility to kind of talk to their partner to say, okay, you know what, this is what I'm not actually happy about. This is what I would like us to kind of address, and then obviously you talk about it. It's not about winning. It's not about competition. Maybe you're trying to win, one partner is trying to win, the other partner is not trying to win. When you are actually trying to compete, trying to kind of win an argument rather than actually sorting things out, then it becomes even much more difficult for you to arrive at any conclusion. Because in marriage, the truth is, even when the other partner says, okay, fine, you're right, genuinely, they mean the other side. So when they say, okay, fine, you're right, they don't really mean that you're right. They don't really mean like that's not what they meant. What they actually meant is that, you know what, I'm just gonna give up so that so that you can have your way. But it doesn't still change the fact that they have that resentment in them. So I just want to encourage you, obviously, to ensure that you have a positive atmosphere in your marriage. I know it can be very difficult to different things, challenges of life, and that's why we do encourage talk about things on time to avoid any sort of issues that may actually come up, whether now or in the future. Remember, negative atmosphere, whether at your workplace or even in your place of worship. So if you're a Christian and you worship in a place, you can imagine, the leader coming with a negative atmosphere, into the service. It's just gonna weigh every other person down. So, and that's why sometimes I do kind of, I find it funny when, a leader of a church complains about negative atmosphere, but they actually usher that negative atmosphere into the environment, and we need to be watchful as well, especially, like, when we are actually trying to kind of bring people into the church to kind of lead, and then, ensure that they go through the right direction, or maybe they're actually following the path of Christ. And like I said, this is heavily focused on marriage. Please, ensure that positive atmosphere, you prioritize that. You prioritize positive atmosphere in your marriage. May the Lord bless you. And then I'll speak to you next week. See ya.